What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. And don't forget, you guys can support the page. My super chat is my Cash App, which is Carcino, Karceno. Now, let's get to the real. It's a lot of negative rap that we hear, right? A lot of like what people would call negative rap. There's nothing real positive about it. And we were speaking on this before about in hip hop, the options. You want to always have a variety, and that's what it used to be. And a lot of you younger guys don't understand that because the other generation failed you. Yep, the Jay-Z's, the Nas's, that generation failed you. That generation of hip hop, that era that had the greatest era of MC, they took the baton and they dropped it. They dropped it. They would pass a baton to something that was greater than anything they have ever seen in their life, and they didn't know how deep the rabbit hole went. They saw just like rap is going into the $1 billion frame. By 1999, hip hop had made its first $1 billion as an industry. That's huge. That fast, it became a $1 billion industry coming from nothing. A John Doe business turning itself to a billion as quickly and as rapidly and as fast as hip hop was. What people also saw that it was influential, and it was the fastest, most influential thing they have ever seen in their life. But they couldn't get a hold of it. It was in the streets. So even if you threaten to blackmail the artist and say, you know what, your single's not going on radio. That's it. You're banned. You could ban a rap artist from every radio in the world. He can go in his own hood. The whole streets are gonna want his album when it drops. They don't care if there's no single, no music video, no nothing. Because the foundation was the mom and pop stores. Without those mom and pop stores, those little record companies that was in the neighborhood, that used to hold a generation afloat. The mom and pop stores, they got it early. They got the name mom and pop stores because normally a husband and wife would own the business. And there would be a record store or some form of business they would own. Then they just went and gobbled up those mom and pop stores, ran them all out of business. I remember the one on 111 here in Chicago, 87, Coops Underground. You know, all these mom and pop spots, gone. That's where the artists used to connect to the hood, connect to the people to buy their records. They would take trips and come to the city when they do a show in the town. They would stop by the mom and pop spots because that's your connection to the hood. That's your connection to your audience who are buying your records. And what they did is they waxed and eliminated all your choices now. Now you don't have a variety. There's no lane for the conscious guy. Conscious rap, that's out to the curb. Now we're going to give you more of slit throat. Slit your throat, slit your throat, slit your throat. You know, it's more him. Now, I ain't mad at Slit Throat because he reporting on things that he probably didn't see in his neighborhood. People's throats getting slit. So, that's his reality. But his reality isn't the only reality in the world. So, it's different variations of music. We just don't have that anymore. But I'm going to let Wise Intelligent break it down from the Poor Righteous Teachers Some of you probably don't know who that is. So, feel enlightened.
You know, hip hop changing from positive to negative was not a consequence of history. It was not a circumstance of history. It was nothing that just happened on its own. It had nothing to do with the changing of the times. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that there are people in this particular society who wants to see us exactly where we are. And we cannot elude that, let that point elude us. These are the facts. How do we know? 1967, Kerner Commission report on urban disorder. When black people said, yo, we're tired of this system. You know what I mean? This system is oppressing us. So we rebelled against the system. We burned things. We said, yo, we had enough. He did his little report on what caused these riots. He said, what caused these riots? He said it was young children who started these riots, and what was motivating them was a high self-esteem and an enhanced racial pride. He said the majority of the rioters were high school dropouts, but they had a higher political orientation than their peers who did not drop out. And they saw the system as their enemy, so they attacked it in the right circumstance. So, fast forward to 1992. Same thing. #1 record on the radio, we had Fight the Power. Fight the Power is on the radio. Rodney King gets beat before the world. The black youth rebelled against the system. Again, they did it again. And why? What primed them? Positive hip hop. Primed them. Fight the Power. X-Clan. Brand Nubian. You had these groups out here who were pushing, who were politically orienting black kids in the right direction, giving them the proper prompters that they needed so that they can respond properly to oppression. All right? In 1967, when the riots happened, he saw that the self-esteem and the racial pride was fueling this. So he said, how do I bring that down so that they will not riot? And what he did, he flooded the airways with black exploitation movies. Nigga Charlie and the Return of Nigga Charlie. These were movies. Hip-hop didn't start calling people niggas. We had Shaft. We had Coffee. Black girl turned prostitute to do whatever, you know what I mean? But these black exploitation movies brought down the self-esteem and the racial pride so that the kids will not rebel against this system of oppression. 92, the racial pride was back in effect. We had black kids going to Dr. Ben Yuckin lectures. We were spending our money to go see Farrakhan speak as opposed to going to a strip club. This is where we were. The most coveted article of clothing was a historically black college or university sweater. We were motivating children towards positive attitudes and lifestyles. And when Rodney King got the beating, heads responded properly. Fast forward to our day. Sean Bell is shot 50 times in the street in New York by police officers. #1 song on the radio, Like a Lollipop. Nobody do nothing. Nobody respond to nothing. Trust me. Just like the brother, I believe it was JT, the bigger figure, who said that the label executives came to him and said, yo, brother, we need you talking about guns and whores. Right. You know what I mean? That's right. That happens. I've been in those meetings with management and had to ask me, is what you're saying really what you believe so that we'll know how to market you properly? You know what I mean? This happens. Young Buck on his album, he has a song on his album that talks about police terrorism. The label said absolutely not. Jimmy Iovine said absolutely not. You cannot put that record on the album because it might create an atmosphere that might put police officers' lives in danger. Right. So they took the record off, but they let him keep the other 14 songs on the album that talked about killing black youth. So this is what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with a circumstance or consequence of history. You know what I mean? The environment that we're embedded in puts us in a situation where we feel we have to maneuver and play the game and water our message down. You know what I mean? But no, what happened was they intentionally shifted the paradigm to get us exactly where we are right now. Right now, we're feeding the prison industrial complex right now. Our kids are going to prison because they're promoting these records. They're promoting these records daily that send us to jail. You know what I mean? It's cool to go to jail. You know what I mean? They glorify these things. It's not the black youth. We're in a position where we get, like the brother said, the choice. You know, he said, yo, I chose the positive. So I didn't do it. But every youth is not going to take that route. I know I come from the projects. Grew up in the projects all my life. You know what I mean? And we're not turning down $500,000 to say nigga. We're not going to do it because we won't turn down 200 to take a package of crack from one corner to the next. You know what I mean? We live in a state of poverty and want of all things. So it's hard for us to make that. Our judgment is clouded. And they knew that the judgment would be even more clouded if they took groups like X-Clan off the radio. This is just what it is. And until we start to deal with the environment that's shaping the behavior, we'll never get to the next level.
Yep, you'll never get to the next level. And that's the point right there. You never get to the next level playing that way into the game. You won't make it. But it's systematically done. So this is why you have a lot of generic music being promoted in the industry. Because they know eventually somebody's going to bop their head to this garbage. And you're listening to it like, man, this is trash. And everybody's liking it. Meanwhile, you see the results of what Wise was telling you. And like I said before, don't forget to donate to the page. Hit the Cash App up. Carcino's the name on the Cash App. We appreciate it. And for the new subscribers, don't forget to hit that notification button so that you can get all of your notifications. You know, I felt sad for the people that didn't get their notifications last week. Make sure you check your settings. Make sure it's all the way on all and those great things there. And don't forget, you could join the Patreon. You can hear a lot more in detail about what's really going on. You know, Carcino for Life on Patreon. Right now, we're talking about the murder investigation about Jim Carrey's girlfriend. It was, you know, initially changed into a suicide, but it's something you can learn there because he was being blamed for the death by her family. So you might want to check that out. That's on there. And what else did we have on there that people were clamoring about? Janet Jackson. We did the Young Chris, Rihanna. Everybody's saying Rihanna naked. Prodigy's death. We go into that and what actually happened there, and people who are responsible. Some people who might be behind it. So definitely check that out. And I think it's a lot over there. We got the Whitney Houston, what really happened to Whitney. You get to see inside of a personal strip club. Girls doing something strange for a little bit of change. You get to see a lot of stuff over there. So, and we got the podcast, and we on Spotify, Carcino for Life on Spotify. If you got it, you can go and play it, listen to it. Check it out. You might like it. But anyway, I got to roll. So